Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Vehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kolam Shabbat, hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's nice to have such a full sanctuary this evening. A quick reminder for everybody. I'll go through a whole little laundry list of reminders here. First things first, which is going to be if you brought a digital device, a cell phone, Apple Watch, anything that beeps into the sanctuary, take a second, make sure you turned off your alarms, put your phone on silent, all those wonderful things. Just take a second to double check that. If you are here with little ones, we love that you are here and in the sanctuary. That's great. And if somebody needs a break, that's good too. We have behind us in the corner there the Shalom Sanctuary, the light's off, but you can flip it on when you head in there, and you can hear everything that's going on from the sanctuary in there. It looks like some of us have found it, which is our masked section. So if you would prefer to sit in a masked-only section, those are our two front rows here. Under your chair is where you're going to find your prayer book. All right, there's a number of books under there. You want the blue one that says Mishkan Tefillah. If you pull out a black one, put it back. If you pull out the Torah, put it back. We're using our blue Mishkan Tefillah prayer book this evening. Friends, if you need to step out of our sanctuary for any reason, you can do so. There's an exit over there. Most of you came in through there. There's exits behind you, and there's exits behind me as well. I am Rabbi Rachel, here with our cantorial soloist Jessica Tillum. Take a second. I would love for you, I know we have a lot of new and familiar faces here, so go ahead, though, and turn and say Shabbat Shalom. Introduce yourself to somebody that you did not drive here with. All right, friends, if you would, I invite you to get yourself into the space. So to do that, we're going to put our backs against our chairs or feet on the floor. Maybe you want to flutter your eyes closed. A lot of moving parts during the week, and now we have this about an hour time to just be present, to let go of everything that kept us busy in the week, and welcome in Shabbat. So we're going to center ourselves with some breathing. Deep breath in together. Let it out. Next breath, holding all of the things that have busied our mind. Deep breath in. Let it out. This final breath, we get ready to enter Shabbat. Deep breath in. And let it out. Friends, I'll invite you to open your prayer books to page 120. And this is an exciting weekend, of course, for the Merrill family and the Tolk family, as all of their daughters become bat mitzvah, benot mitzvah. It's an exciting time for the congregation, and so it's my honor to call up for candle lighting Nina Bernstein, Sandy Miller, Sherry Miller, I'm Miller, Merrill, Sherry Merrill, Carrie Merrill, and for the Tolk family, if Alana Tolk, Julie Esther, April Esther, and Judy Tolk, if you guys will come on up. And if the congregation will please rise. I know they're not the same height, but I did get you guys so that there weren't 20 people trying to light 2 candles. At least there's 4. So come on around to whichever side you're supposed to be on with your family. All right, and there's a little sheet down there for you guys. Step 1, light the candles. Oh, you can use the one that's already lit to light the others. Ooh. Teamwork makes the dream work, friends. You know, with the big group, we'll welcome in the love, the light, the warmth, and Jessica will count us in. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kinishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you all. Shabbat Shalom. If you would like to light your own Shabbat candles, make your way forward to our 2 tables. If you're not interested in lighting Shabbat candles this evening, I invite you to take a seat and help us welcome our Sabbath angels, our Shabbat angels. Shalom Aleichem, page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei If you'll turn in your prayer book to page 138, you'll find our prayer Lechadodi. So the journey we've been on so far, it's a short one, but we had this chance to welcome in light, the Sabbath lights. It's how we sanctify our Shabbat, by having this sort of centering piece for us to always come back to throughout our service. Then we welcomed these angels quite quickly, just to say, hey, angels, Judaism as angels, hey, angels, we're praying, we're recognizing Shabbat, we're here, stay with us, have a good time. Now, we move into Lechadodi, where we get to welcome our Sabbath bride. And we imagine that Sabbath bride, it can be anything that's that most beautiful thing in your life. We imagine seeing that in our mind's eye, walking toward us so that we can welcome her. The Lechadodi 138.
This is a melody that some of you might not know so well, but the Lecha Dodi choruses repeat, so please feel free to join in. Lecha Dodi likrat kala.
I guess they know it.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikra bela. Shamoy v'zachor b'dibor echad. Ishmi Amidah hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shem u'tiferet ani tehila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikra bela. Likrat Shabbat lahu v'lecha. Ki mekor habracha. Lerosh mikem nesucha. Zech ma'aseh b'machshava tehila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikra bela.
We rise and face the door.
Boi b'shalom ateret bala. Gam b'simcha tzorla. Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala.
We face forward.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikra bela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat nikra bela.
Friends, that might be one of my top 5 favorite moments in the congregation. They're not going to know this one, and then you do. So wonderful. Let's continue the vibe. Page 146, Baruch Hu.
Yai lai 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 lai. 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 Lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
Friends, we turn to our back inside cover of our prayer book, where you will see our prayer for welcoming in the evening, Ma'ariv Aravim, roll into dark.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Orei yom v'layla. Golel or mipnei choshech. Golel or mipnei choshech. V'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Turn to page 152. Feel our feet on the floor. We stand tall and proud. We declare God's oneness. Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated unless you are becoming bat mitzvah tomorrow. Then come on forward. One of you grab that microphone right there by the kishka. Come on up, all the way. So on page 154, this is for you. I've got it there. Yes, page 154, you will find words of Vehafta. And this is a prayer that talks to us about living out our values, being mindful of them wherever we go. But more than that, it says, don't just be mindful of them, teach them. Teach them to your children so that they can grow up and try to go be good people, right? Now, for the three of you, this is your last Shabbat evening chanting Vehafta as a child in the congregation. After tomorrow, you guys become adults in the congregation, which means you're now on the other side of the Vehafta. It means it's time for you to be the teacher. You're the ones who are going to teach the community's children. Sound good? Think you can do it? The good news is, you're still living in your parents' home. Jewish adult doesn't mean we kick you out. Although, even more so, that we want you here. We want you to be those teachers, to be a part of our religious school program as madrichot. Madrichot is the plural of a girl who is a madrich, which is a madricha, which is madrichot. Okay, grammar lesson. All right, so that is what you guys are doing tonight. Tonight, you are making that transition from the children of our congregation, and tomorrow you will become adults. Page 100 and, what did I say, 54? 154. 1, 2, 3. Bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol neotecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Beautiful. Thank you. You can head back down until I call you up again. All right. I think they're ready. Friends, if you will, please turn with me to page 39. Let's pray responsibly at the bottom of the page. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. Together, the high heavens. You with me? 157, bottom of the page. Ah. Let's try that again. All right. You know what? Now I'm not feeling that one anymore. Okay. Top of page 157. Let's do it all together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mocha, page 158. Adonai Mikamochane et Kodesh Norat Tehillah Osei Feleh Norat Tehillah Osei Feleh. Friends, on page 160, we have our prayer Hashkivenu. It is a prayer that asks for God to spread over us a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace, that in the evening time especially, we're most vulnerable. And this is a prayer that recognizes that vulnerability. And it says, hey, God, be with me. I'm looking for you. Let me find you. Hashkivenu, page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu B'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu B'chaim
Page 163. Let's pray together at the top of the page. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. Our prayer of Vishamru, page 162, the Jewish people's prayer for Shabbat, this type of way of being in the world that we pray we all get to one day for every day. But for now, we take advantage of that one day a week, even if it's just this 1 hour here in services, to welcome Shabbat.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'doratam berit olam.
As the girls becoming B'not Mitzvah tomorrow can tell you, they discovered in their studies of Ki Teitzei, our Torah portion this week, that it is full of laws. 74 laws, to be exact, the most of any portion in the Torah. And some of these laws we can get behind in today's modern world. A law like if somebody's property goes missing and you find it, do not ignore it, take it back to them. No problem. Other laws feel pretty outdated these days, a law like stoning your disobedient child. Less so on that one. The portion this week also has many laws about relationships, like husbands, wives, partners, slaves, animals, and even enemies. But there is a whole category of relationship laws that feels like it's missing. And to me, that is the category of friendship. Sure, we have one of our most famous laws, love your neighbor as yourself. Some people think of it as like love your friend as love everybody as yourself. But it's not as if the Torah goes into detail about what it means to build a real and fulfilling friendship. Besides a neighbor or a stranger, as it may be translated, it's not necessarily the same thing as a friend. They may become a friend, but in its original intent, it's a reference to someone you live in community with or someone passing through. Now, in Torah, there is no code of conduct that says if you text your friend and they don't text back within 30 minutes, you are obligated to send them a gentle emoji as a reminder that you're not trying to be too pushy, but also want to make sure that they didn't miss your text message. There's no rule that says you must converse with your friend on the phone, in voice, lest you only communicate via the exchange of memes and gifs that remind you of one another. And there's no commandment that articulates, be sure to see one another in person, lest you forget what each other look like in the unfiltered scope of real life. Now, we often, Rabbi Max kind of debated me on if we do this often, but I think we often talk about that guy in Talmud called Honi the circle maker. It's the story we use for the context of Lador Vador, of generation to generation, making sure that we leave the world better than we left it. That's how most of us know that frame of reference for the story. It's such a prominent text that a piece of the story is painted on our walls just outside the chapel. Now, the Honi story, it's the Talmudic tale of a man, Honi, who was traveling down a road and he sees someone planting a carob tree. He asks the man how long it will take for the tree to bear fruit. 70 years is the response. Do you think that you will live another 70 years? Honi asks the man. The man says, I found carob trees growing when I was born because my ancestors planted them for me, so I too plant them for my children. So then, takes a weird turn. Honi, he sits down to have a meal and he falls asleep. And as he sleeps, a rock formation grows around him, hiding him from sight. This is all in Talmud. And he continues to evidently sleep for 70 years. And when he woke up, he saw what looked like the same man gathering beautiful fruit from a carob tree. And so Honi approaches the man and he says, are you the man who planted this tree? And the man says, no, I am his grandson. And that's when Honi realizes that he has been asleep for 70 years. And this is usually where the story stops. We talk about the power of how, oh my gosh, to see this young man who's the grandson of the first person who planted the tree. And we get all excited about generation to generation. But the story, it continues with a piece that we don't often focus on. Because having been gone for 70 years, one of the things you're probably going to do is go looking for your own family. And so Honi goes to the Beit Midrash, the study hall. And there in the study hall, people were actually talking about this guy's teachings. Honi was a pretty famous guy, so they're talking about his teachings in the study hall. And he speaks up and declares that he is indeed the man that they are talking about. But the people in the hall did not believe him, and they did not show him any respect. Then this story, it takes a sharp turn, and it tells us that because of this, Honi gets upset, he prays for mercy, and then he dies. And the story ends with a very simple teaching. It just says either friendship or death. That's how valuable friendship is in the Jewish tradition, and yet our Torah gives us no guidance on how to build those relationships. We are a people built on connection, so much so that to be without community and friendship is actually considered dangerous. From the book of Ecclesiastes, we learn 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up the other fellow. But woe to the one that is alone when they fall, for they have not another to help them up. Friends are our support system. And for those who don't have family near, we even go so far as to call our friends our chosen family. Now, Temple Emanu-El was built as a chosen family. Many of our founding and early families were transplants to Atlanta, starting a new life in a new city. And today, some of these founding families are now in the 2nd and 3rd generation of children of the congregation. And while we have more families with more family connections to the area than in the early years, we remain a gathering place for friends to become family and a home for the transplants of Atlanta. Now, some of you may have caught the signs, but there was a Sisterhood dinner going on, a Sisterhood Shabbat dinner going on downstairs before our service. And so in many ways, this is a Sisterhood Shabbat of sorts. And I wanted to give a shout out to that because the sisterhood is at the center of this endeavor for friendship. Sisterhood is made up of strong, vibrant, and diverse women who span the generations. Women of sisterhood gather for programs, activities that enhance their lives, and they strengthen and build friendships. Sisterhood, brotherhood, siblinghood, peoplehood, however we wordsmith it, these gatherings are about bringing together a group of individuals from particular parts of life to build deeper bonds. And we begin from places of commonality, and then we expand into all the differences that make the relationship meaningful and interesting. Sisterhood is for all ages, those who are young or young at heart, those with a little more life experience, those with no kids, just had kids, grown kids, or grandkids. And it's groups like Sisterhood that allow members of our community to bond on a more intimate level. And while we love it when our community comes together for huge social events, prayers, programs, we know that it can be really hard to feel seen when there's always a big to-do going on. Because the friendships are formed in the quieter moments, around the dinner table or game table, while packing food for those down on their luck, while putting together baskets for the arrival of refugees, or perhaps, stereotypically, while reflecting on presentations about the latest and greatest in makeup, fashion, and fitness. Sometimes we just need an in to get us started. That interesting event that gets us out of our house and in the door of our sacred home for something new. In today's world, it is hard to make new friends. I've been doing some deep dives into all of the Atlantic magazine's writing on the topic of friendship in recent years. And one thing is clear from my reading. It's that survey upon survey upon survey shows how important people's friends are to their happiness. Regardless of age or stage of life, 3 things hold true throughout the research. A close friend is somebody to talk to, somebody to depend on, and someone to enjoy. These expectations remain the same, but the circumstances under which they're accomplished are constantly changing. So let sisterhood or brotherhood or a chavara or any of Temple Emanu-El's small group-style communities help you along this journey. Or if you're visiting from a synagogue out of state, seek it out when you get back home too. One of the Atlantic articles described today's adulthood relationships quite perfectly. In adulthood, as people grow up and go away, friendships are the relationships most likely to take a hit. You're stuck with your family. Theoretically, you'll prioritize your spouse. But where once you could run over to Johnny's house at a moment's notice and see if he could come out to play, now you have to ask Johnny if he has a couple hours to get a drink in 2 weeks. And since this is our new reality, when we see the schedule come out for sisterhood or brotherhood or tribe or a chavara, save the dates. Don't just hit delete on that email. I know you get a lot of emails, but look at it. Prioritizing friendships has fallen off the to-do list of many adults, and all the more so for making new friends. But Temple Emanu-El is a place of friend-making. Whether Jewish or Jewishly adjacent, we start from a different place in our friendship making by having the shared history and current experiences of life. So let's tap into this deeper level of connection as we move into the Jewish New Year, not so many days away, and may we all be blessed to find new friends. Shabbat Shalom. Friends, I invite you to turn to page 164 as we continue in our service with the Amidah. Please rise.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi tehillatcha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, B'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umikayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lechayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh ha'ol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh. Take a few moments for silent prayer and meditation. When you've completed your prayers, I'll invite you to please be seated.
It is now my pleasure to invite up somebody, Julie. Julie Mokatoff for announcements. She is co-chair for the Sisterhood as well as our Social Justice Committee. You're welcome.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
My name is Julie Mokatoff, and I am representing Sisterhood and Social Justice this evening. And I want to welcome our B'nai Mitzvah families, wish you the heartiest of Mazel Tov on your very, very special milestone event. We also want to welcome family and guests and Temple Emanu-El congregants who are in person or participating online. Please check the weekly TE events and programming email on Mondays that come out every Monday for more details on upcoming programs. Some of those programs include Friday, September 16th, prospective member Nosh and Shabbat service. Saturday, September 17th, Tot Shabbat. Join Rabbis Millers for Shabbat songs and fun for ages 0 through 5, and stay for a bagel and cream cheese. The next weekend, Saturday, September 24th, Shabbat Kid-ish. Join Rabbi Millers for Shabbat songs and fun, ages 5 to 10. Something else on Saturday, September 17th, Slichot dessert program and service. Saturday, October 1st, Tashlich at the MJCCA, and that's for all ages. And Sunday, October 2nd, TE Mahjong. While you are here this evening, if you are visiting or a new member, please introduce yourself to me, the clergy, any of the congregants. And Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Robert, can I nominate you? Thank you. So one of the things that we get to do here at Emanu-El, of course, is to share the good that's going on in our lives. So I think there's probably a few people in the room who have had something wonderful happen to them in recent days or who plan to soon. Oh, okay, and Rick is going to model for us. So please share your name and what's going on.
Rick Shapiro, my better half, Nancy. Today's our anniversary.
Aww.
For those who ask how many, I'll give you a clue. Jackie Robinson's number +1. Nancy, you may have wanted to trade me in a bunch over the last few months. I will never trade you in.
No. Top that. He's like, oh, maybe not.
So right here's my lovely sister, Sydney. And it's
Who
her
are
bat
you?
mitzvah. Oh, I'm Jack, her older brother, who likes to embarrass her. So it's her bat mitzvah this weekend, so I want everyone to give a round of applause for Sydney because it's her bat mitzvah.
So I'm Norman Zolder, and the lady sitting next to me tonight is Harriet. She's my wife. And tomorrow, 61 years ago, we had our first date.
Aww.
I won't embarrass you, don't worry. Hi, everyone. Eric Merrill. I'm just very excited to have our entire extended families here, as many as could make it, to celebrate with us for the Benot Mitzvah for Addison and Dylan tomorrow.
Hey, thank you.
Sheila Bialis and my lovely husband will be celebrating his 85th birthday on next Friday.
Yay.
I'm Nora Florsheim, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank all the women that attended our Sisterhood Shabbat Dinner. Our Sisterhood Shabbat Dinner tonight, it was awesome, and thank you all for being there.
My name is Alexandra Evans, and I've recently converted to Judaism just last week, and today is my birthday.
Happy birthday! Okay, so Rabbi Rachel, right now Rabbi Max is hosting by himself, like 18 people over at our house for some Shabbat dinner. He didn't cook, though. He didn't cook. And the other thing, just so I can one-up absolutely everybody this evening, so I left the house wearing Birkenstocks, but the first day, my first week here, I put these shoes in my office just in case. Now I'm wearing them.
I'm Jessica Tillum. Last night we had our first rehearsal with almost the full choir for High Holidays, and it sounded beautiful, and I'm so excited to sing with everyone.
Awesome. So for all of these great things, we turn to page 648, thanking God for reaching this moment in time. Shechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
And friends, it's awesome when we get to be there for one another in the good. And it's even more powerful, though, when we get to do it when things aren't as great. When we're there to hold up our friends, hold up our family who need a little extra strength. And so this Shabbat, we are thinking of those in need of healing, be it mind, body, spirit, or relationship. So we're especially thinking of Alvin Levy, Hilda Wilson, Kashka Muskogee, Cindy Hirsch, David Ben Label, Levi Sylvie, Carol Sylvie, Benny Eldelson, Asher Chosmer, Deborah Gilbert, Harris Friedman, Brett Samsky, Shmuel Ben Devora, Mayor Ben Rachmiel Vadina, Ashish Sharma, Ken Schiffer, Kathy Cook, Karnina Michal Bat Yitzhak Vitova, and Jennifer Herman. If there's somebody that you are thinking of this Shabbat, I invite you to share that name aloud as my eyes meet yours. Thank you. That's okay. Thank you. And thank you. 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 Friends, if you would, please rise. If your neighbor is okay with it, wrap an arm around one another. Words of Misha Berach can be found page 371.
Before us, help us.
remain standing. Page 123. If Sydney, Dylan, and Addison, if you guys would make your way back on up. And Addison or Dylan, if you could grab the Kiddush cup. All right, and then if you are under the age of bar or bat mitzvah, if you could also come on up. I know you're there, I see you. I see parents wagging fingers saying, come on. Yep, Max, come on. I know we're kind of blocking it, but come on all the way up. All right, as they're making their way forward, keep coming. We'll join together on page 123. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila, lamikra'e kodesh, zecher letziat mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta, Ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. You get to tap the drink. You're holding it. Perfect. All right. If all of you will head to the ark, please. I think that'll stay. All right. And then if two of you will open the ark, please. Page 586. We begin to conclude our service with Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol. Latei kedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chalkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu kor'im, u'mishtachavim u'modim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, L'melech al kol ha'aretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo
Thanks, Az. You may be seated. We've reached the point in our service where we call to mind the memory of loved ones, those who have died in recent days and those in seasons past. We begin by offering condolences to the family of Paula Hufford. In a period of shloshim for Kenneth Allen Zoller and Stephen J. Feldman, and those observing yahrzeits for Sophie Boaz, Nathan Hubble Cantor, Minnie Senker, Ada Dunn, Essie Eisner, Robert M. Feinberg, Beverly Jaffe Finkel, Ruth Diamond Finkelstein, Mark Gilbert, Ernst Goldsmith, Paul Goldstein, Jay Goldstein, Alan Gudelman, Ruth Gordon, Rose Hirschberg, Frank Jacobs, Ann Lazarov Kozlensky, Harry Kessler, Pauline Kirschner, Joseph Kleinberg, Robert Koch, Bernard Kunberg, Jeanette Lerner, Howard Levenberg, Gertrude Levitt Marks, L. Frank Levy, June Michelle, Morris Miller, Goldie Morris, Eileen Oxenhandler, Marvin Persky, Hasida Ravnoff, Ethel S. Rollins, Alan J. Rosenberg, Alfred S. Rosenthal, Jaime Samuelson, Nathan Schwartz, Ida Simon, Abraham F. Stone, and Rabbi Henry Zelizer. If there is a name in which I accidentally skipped or mispronounced, I invite you to share that name aloud. If you are in the first 30 days mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to please rise so we may recognize you. If you are in the first year, Yud Bet, mourning the loss of a loved one, I invite you to rise so we may recognize you. If on this Shabbat you are commemorating a yahrzeit, a death anniversary of a loved one, we invite you to rise so we may recognize you. And if it is your custom to rise for Mourner's Kaddish, as it is here at Temple Emanu-El, I invite you to do so now. We join together the words on page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayachon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei amaya, yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudasha barichu, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu.
Rise.
Say shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Say shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu.
Friends, one last thing, a little wala, chala. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thanks.